Chapter 1. The Life I Thought Was Everything. If I told you that divorce saved my life, would you believe me? Most people think divorce is only pain, but for me it became the beginning of freedom. Let me tell you how it all started. My story may sound strange, but every word is true. This is the life I lived, the life I thought was perfect, and the life that almost broke me. My name is Elisa. I am 69 years old and I live in the United States. People often see me now and call me strong, but I want to share with you the truth. I want to share with you my journey, my past life. I was married for many years. When I say many years, I mean most of my life. I entered that house as a young bride with dreams, but those dreams slowly turned into duties. From the first morning of my marriage till the last day with my husband, I lived for him. I cooked 3 meals a day, I pressed his shirts, I cleaned the floors, I kept everything in order, so that he never had to lift a finger. People praised me as a good wife, and I thought that was my identity. I believed my worth was in serving him. I never asked for anything for myself. I did not buy clothes for me without his permission. I did not meet friends without telling him. My days started with his needs and ended with his moods. Sometimes I was tired, sometimes I was sick, but I told myself this was love. I told myself a wife must sacrifice. I thought if he was happy, I was happy. That belief was so deep in me that I never even thought of life outside him. You may ask me, didn't you feel trapped? The truth is, I did not know I was trapped. I thought that life was normal. I thought love meant giving everything and expecting nothing. I thought silence was peace. Looking back now, I realize how blind I was. But then, at that time, I believed this was the only way to live. There were moments when I wanted to say, I am tired, but I swallowed my words. There were nights when I wanted to talk about my feelings, but he was always busy with himself. I waited for him to notice me, to ask me how I felt, but that moment never came. Still, I never complained. I thought, maybe this is how all marriages are. Maybe I am too weak to ask for more. I remember a day when I had fever. My body was burning, my head was heavy, but he asked me to press his clothes. I stood there with tears in my eyes, pressing his white shirt while my hands shook. I wanted him to say, leave it. You need rest. But instead he said, don't leave wrinkles. That day, I felt something break inside me. But still, I did not fight back. I told myself, this is my duty. My life became a pattern. Wake up, cook, clean, serve, sleep. Again and again, every single day, I lost myself. I forgot what I liked, what I wanted, what made me smile. People outside thought we had a perfect marriage. They said, look at her, she takes such good care of him. She is so lucky, lucky. That word cut me like a knife because deep inside I felt empty. I was not lucky. I was lost, but I held on to hope. I kept telling myself, one day he will see how much I love him. One day he will thank me. I waited for years, but that day never came. Instead, something else came, something that turned my life upside down. One evening he sat at the table. His face was serious, his eyes cold. I thought maybe he was upset about work. I asked him softly if he wanted tea. He shook his head and said words I never thought I would. Here. I want a divorce. At first I laughed nervously. I thought he was joking. How could he say that after so many years? But his face did not change. My hands shook, my voice cracked. I begged him and I said, we can work it out, I will change, I will do more. I was ready to bend even further, even though I was already bent to the ground. But he was not listening. His mind was made. He said he wanted his freedom. He said he was tired. Tired, those words felt like poison. Tired of what? I gave him everything. What more did he want? That night I cried like a child. I held his hand. I begged him not to leave, but he pulled away. The man for whom I had lived every second of my life was walking out, and I could do nothing to stop him. I felt like my whole world was collapsing. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I wanted to run, but my legs were heavy. It was the most helpless moment of my life. For the next days, I tried to stop him. I cooked his favorite meals. I spoke sweetly. I prayed. I thought maybe he would change his mind, but nothing worked. Papers were signed. My marriage ended with a few strokes of a pen. Just like that, decades of sacrifice were thrown away. Do you know what it feels like to see your whole life disappear in a moment? It is like standing in a storm with no shelter. It is like drowning and no one reaching out a hand. That was me, a woman who gave everything, now left with nothing. And yet, I want to tell you something. That moment, as painful as it was also the beginning of my true story. At that time, I did not know it. At that time, all I saw was darkness. But life had a plan for me, a plan I could not see, but a plan that would one day set me free. This is where my journey begins. This is the story of how I lost everything, and how that loss became the door to a life I never imagined. Chapter 2. The day my world fell apart. I still remember the night he said it. The words cut me in half. Richard looked at me and said he wanted a divorce. His voice was calm, but my world shook. I thought it was a bad dream. I thought he would take his words back, but he did not. He looked at me with cold eyes and no care. I begged him. I told him I could change. I told him we could try again. I promised I would do more. I promised I would give up even the little I had kept for myself. I was ready to lose everything if it meant he stayed. But nothing touched him. His heart was far away. I held his hands and cried. I asked him to remember our years together. I reminded him of the home we built. I reminded him of the love I gave. But he said nothing. That gave me hope. He only said he was tired. He only said he wanted peace. I could not understand. How could peace mean leaving me? That night I could not sleep. I sat on the bed and cried until my body shook. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I wanted to run, but my legs felt weak. I pressed my face into the pillow and it was wet with tears. I felt like a child who had lost everything at once. In the morning I tried again. I cooked his favorite food. I smiled when he walked in. I spoke gently, hoping he would soften, but he ate in silence. He looked at me like I was not even there. My heart broke again. For days I kept trying. I prayed in the night. I begged in the morning. I told him I could not live without him. But his eyes told me the truth. He had already left me in his heart. His body was there, but his love was gone. One evening he placed papers on the table. Divorce papers. My hands shook as I touched them. I asked him not to do it. I said we could fix things. He said it was too late. He said nothing could change his mind. My chest burned. I thought my breath would stop. I tried to delay it. I told him I needed more time. He said I could take a few days, but it would not change anything. He was sure. His voice was steady. Mine was broken. I felt like I was fighting a war I could not win. When I finally signed the papers, it felt like death. I saw my name next to his, broken apart forever. The pen slipped in my hand, but I still wrote it. My tears fell on the page. I wanted to tear it apart, but it was done. Years of marriage ended in a few strokes. After that, I watched him pack. He took his clothes, his books, his things. I stood in the corner, unable to move. Each item he placed in the bag felt like a piece of me. I wanted to scream, "Stop. This is my life too," but I said nothing. My lips would not move. When he walked out the door, I followed him with my eyes. He did not look back. He did not pause. He left like I was nothing. The door closed, and with that sound, my world collapsed. I fell to the floor and cried until I could not breathe. I felt like my soul had been ripped apart. The days after were worse. I walked through the house like a ghost. I touched his shirt still hanging in the closet. I smelled them and cried. I sat at the table and looked at his empty chair. I made tea and poured 2 cups by mistake. Then I remembered he was gone. The pain was sharp. People called me. Some gave advice. Some told me to move on. Some said I was free now. Their words hurt me more. They did not know my heart. They did not know I had given my entire life to him. Without him, I felt worthless. Nights were the hardest. I lay in bed, staring at the empty space beside me. I hugged the pillow, pretending it was him. I closed my eyes, hoping to wake up and find it was just a dream. But every morning, reality hit me again. He was gone. I kept blaming myself. I asked what I had done wrong. Was I not loving enough? Was I not kind enough? I searched for answers, but there were none. The truth was simple. He wanted to leave. He chose to walk away, and I could do nothing. I thought my story ended that day. I thought I would spend the rest of my life in darkness. But I was wrong. Life had other plans for me. I could not see it yet, but something new was waiting. The day my world fell apart, that was the day my new story began. Like, subscribe, and share.